What's going on YouTube? In today's video we're gonna take a look at how to install the Maximus 3 Stinger on Jeep JL. So as you can see, I have already started. I used to have this shorty bull bar up here, so all I did is just took it off. There are a bunch of this Torx bolts. So there's one here, one here, one here. You can leave that in. Same thing on this side. One here, one here, one here. That's all we need to take off. There's also clips like this, which you do have to pull out. Some of them slide out pretty easy, some of them take some force. This one you can see I had to kind of break the retaining mechanism here. So I got all three of them out. I still have them on this side though. You can see there's one there, one there, one there. So what I found that works best, I've tried two different methods. Tried to do it with a punch tool and it does work. That's how I broke that one, but also damaged my punch tool. I don't know if you can see that. So then the second method is I'm trying to actually use this little pry tool, delicate pry tool, and I'm just trying to pull. I don't know if you can see that, but you want to get that little tab right there. You want to hook it and you want to pull it up, and then that thing will slide out. I do need two hands for it, so I can't show it to you on video, but basically once I get that done, I'm gonna move on to the next step. Also guys, worth noting, I am using a screwdriver, kind of a big one, to apply adequate force to make this guys come out, because otherwise it's really difficult to get them to pop out. And here you go. So I just did this one and this one. Definitely you will need some sort of tool to apply force. Screwdriver works pretty well. Next step is we need to undo these bolts in the frame. So that's a 7/8, sorry, 5/8 socket is what I'm using. Pretty easy to loosen it up. So this one's already loose. You only need a few turns to loosen it up, and then the bolt starts to come out. So we're gonna do the same thing on this side. That is needed so we can then place our reinforcement brackets. I don't know if this is the right one for this side, but the reinforcement bracket. See if I can get some light in there. We'll just kind of go like this, and then this end will go right under this bolt. So this will just reinforce the whole bumper, so that if your Stinger takes the impact, it's not going to bend this portion of the bumper inward. So this adds a pretty beefy amount of resistance. Alright guys, so small update. What I showed you, I think I demoed it with this bracket. This is incorrect. You need the other bracket. So your tab here should be facing toward your winch, otherwise the hole is not going to line up. This hole here is not going to line up with this hole. It's going to be offset a little bit too far. So you need to make sure that this tab is facing your winch or your winch plate, whatever you have. So I have both of the plates installed. You can see there's one here. It just hand tightened, both of them hand tightened, because we are going to have to move it around a little bit to make sure we can insert our Stinger, which is right here, which is the next step. So I'm just gonna go ahead and line it up on the bumper, maybe put some nuts on just so it doesn't fall down, and then we'll go from there. There's one more thing that's worth mentioning is they give you, let me see if you can see that, they give you this rubberized washers. I got one right there. So I put 2 of them on the studs that come with the stinger, and then one of them we're gonna have to align it manually later. Same thing here. So the stinger is roughly on. Now don't repeat my mistake here. So during install I just left the washer as you saw up here, but this side actually did not go in very easily, so I had to force it in, and as I forced it in, that rubber washer ran off, so I cannot find it. That one's still there, but you don't have to put the washers here right away. You can just slide them in afterwards. There's actually plenty of space there. As you can see, this one, like there's plenty of space here. I can fit my finger in there basically. So luckily I have another rubber washer that is exactly the same, so I'm just gonna slide it there with my pinky, and to align it farther I'm gonna use my pick tool, so roughly like that, almost straight. So now we're gonna put the individual bolts into these holes and go from there. We're gonna start tightening everything. Alright guys, the individual bolts I'm talking about are these black ones. I'm assuming. This is all assumptions by the way, I haven't read the instructions even though they're right there. But it looks like this are the bolts that we need, and I am assuming this are the washers we're going to put on top of them as well. So I'm assuming that the zinc lock nuts with the nylon go on the studs that come with the stinger, so we'll do that last. We're gonna go ahead and do these 2. Alright guys, you know how I said we're gonna do this first and these last? Well, actually I lied. I think we have to do the zinc first to pull the other 2 bolts down, because there's not enough bite on the bolt. It's not long enough to go through this bracket, so we're gonna go ahead and tighten the frame, or tighten the stinger to the frame of the bumper, and see if that gives us enough thread to start threading this bolts on. This side for me is better. This one I can almost get a bolt on there, but it does need to come down a bit more. Yeah, for me these bolts are not doing it. They're just a little too short, so I'm gonna use my own bolts. These 2. It's gonna be a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, same thread pattern. Just I had them laying around, so I'm not gonna try to fit these. Like I got one side really tight, and I would think this should work at this point, but it's just too short, so I'm just gonna use these bolts. Alright guys, everything is bolted up. Blue just checked it, right Blue? Did you check it? Huh Blue? Is it good? You check it? Yeah? Okay. So yeah, everything is bolted up, everything is torqued with exception for the frame bolts. So I still have to torque the frame bolts, but this guy is solid. So this is kind of how it looks on a black JL, and I'm gonna insert more pictures once I'm done here. I still gotta install the lights, so I'm not done. We're gonna do that on video as well. So here's the bracket that you get if you chose to get one, and that will just go up here. So we need to take off this 3 Torx. I think that's Torx 45. So we'll take them off, we'll bolt this bracket in place, and then we'll install the lights. I got the bracket installed. I just reused the bolts that were already on the bumper. I think they're plenty adequate, and they've been on this bumper for, you know, 6 years. So I trust these bolts. We're gonna go ahead and mount the lights now, and we're done. Alright guys, we're done. Time to go take some pictures. Let's do it.